Following a tumultuous offseason in which Cardinals star pass rusher Chandler Jones made it clear that he was unhappy with his contract status with the team by holding out of mandatory minicamp practices and formally requesting a trade, Jones still came out in Week 1 and didn't miss a beat, racking up a whopping 5 sacks versus the Titans. Count 'em, 5. With a multitude of beautiful pass rush moves, he dominated the usually dependable Taylor Lewan so thoroughly that the Titans' left tackle jumped to Twitter following the game to apologize to the fans and thank Jones for humbling him. Talk about an impact. In fact, according to Anthony Reinhard, Jones' 5 sacks Sunday made for the most impactful sacks in a single game since at least 1999, costing the Titans 18.3 expected points. It was one of the most complete defensive performances you will see in a while, as Jones was also key in limiting Derrick Henry to just 3.4 yards per carry. This monster performance was nothing new for the 10-year pro, as Jones has quietly put together a rock-solid Hall of Fame case for himself, and he clearly isn't slowing down anytime soon. That game was the third of his career in which he compiled 4 or more sacks. Only Hall of Famer Derek Thomas and all-time underrated great Leslie O'Neal have more such games since 1982. His other 2 4-sack games both came in 2019, in road wins over the Seahawks and Giants respectively. In fact, no stage has proven too big for Jones, as all of his career games with 2.5 or more sacks have come on the road. Jones is also a master at finding the ball and taking it away as well. He is the only player since at least 1999 with multiple games of 4+ sacks and 2 or more forced fumbles. His 29 career forced fumbles are the 8th most in a player's first 125 games since 1999. Jones has eclipsed double-digit sack totals in 6 of his first 9 seasons. The only times he failed to do so were his rookie year and 2 injury-shortened seasons. Since 1960, only Reggie White, Claude Humphrey, Von Miller, and DeMarcus Ware had more 10+ sack seasons in their first 8 years, all of them current or future Hall of Famers. Jones currently sits 31st on the official all-time sack list with 102, and 51st on Pro Football Reference's unofficial list. Of the 23 guys ahead of him on the official list, about half and half are in the Hall and out of the Hall. Not bad. However, you have to consider that Jones is still in the prime of his career, and he's already that high up on the list. Now, listen up, this right here is the stat to remember. Since 1982, Jones is one of only 8 players to compile 100 or more sacks in the first 125 games of their career. Only Reggie White, DeMarcus Ware, Bruce Smith, and Jared Allen had more. Now how is that for good company? Jones is only 31 years old and just put up the 8th most sacks in a single game since 1982. What reason is there to think he'll drop off anytime soon? He has produced at a consistent level every time he's stepped foot on the football field. Through his career, he's put up 3 seasons with a PFF grade of 80 or better, and it's only 1 game, but he's on track to add another this year. He's had the high peaks, with his 19-sack season in 2019, 1/2 behind Shaq Barrett for the league lead, and his spectacular 2017 season in which he led the NFL in both sacks and tackles for loss. His 28 TFLs that year are the 4th most in a single season since 1999, behind only 3 years from his new teammate in the desert, J.J. Watt. And Jones has even had the team success, as he helped the Patriots win Super Bowl 49 by taking down Russell Wilson in the big game. And he's had the consistent longevity, as evidenced by his placement on the 2010 NFL All-Decade team, which historically is a good barometer for predicting future Hall of Famers. 12 of 21 eligible defensive players from the 2000s team have been enshrined. 15 of 22 from the 90s, and 15 of 24 from the 80s have made it in, while 18 of 22 from the 70s and 13 of 17 from the 60s have gotten in. That means 68.9% of defensive players named to the All-Decade team since 1960 are in the Hall of Fame. Those are pretty good odds. I will reiterate, Chandler Jones has already built himself a solid Hall of Fame case through his first 9+ seasons, and he's still not even close to being done. In fact, he might even be better than ever. Since arriving in Arizona in 2016, Jones is just a half sack behind Aaron Donald for the league lead in that time period. And that's while playing 9 fewer games than the Rams defensive tackle. He's also 5th in QB hits and 3rd in tackles for loss during that stretch. He's simply an unblockable game wrecker who seems to be getting better with age. Since he got off on the right foot in week 1, he has a real shot at bringing home a new all-time single-season sack record, thanks in part to the additional game this year. All he needs is 18.5 sacks in the next 16 games. Regardless of if he hits that mark or not, it's nice to see that the Cardinals star is finally starting to get the shine that he deserves. He's been dominating offenses year in and year out, but rarely gets mentioned among the top pass rushers because Arizona hasn't made the playoffs since the year before his arrival. If he keeps performing at this level for just an extra couple years, Chandler Jones will go from an on-the-cusp Hall of Famer to a surefire first-ballot Hall of Famer. The Cardinals would be wise to pay the man.